This is a TFL stretch. So your TFL is this muscle right here, right over top of your hip bone, and it connects to your IT band, which goes all the way down to your knee. Now, this muscle can get really overactive from lots of walking or standing, and it can be shortened up and become overactive during sitting. So it can be very problematic sometimes. Now, what it does is it turns your leg in and it pulls your leg out. It also pulls your leg up. So what we want to try to do is counteract that as much as possible to get the best possible stretch. So the first stretch I'm going to show can be really challenging, and it's not really my favorite, but if it can be done correctly, it's really good and convenient. So this one would be called a hip drop. So what I want to do is turn my leg out because it turns in. I want to keep my hips fairly straight because it pulls my leg up. And I want to make sure that I keep my knee straight because it does help to curl at the knee. Now from here, I'm going to take my stretching leg. I'm going to sweep back and over. And while I maintain a relatively straight position, I'm going to slowly push my hip into position. Now you don't want to be curving too much at the spine. You may end up getting a lot of oblique stretch, and that's not what we're shooting for. But I want to feel that stretch coming out of this lateral portion of my hip or maybe in the front. So keep making sure that you don't really turn your foot like this, but that you're keeping it relatively straight on or even turned outward into an external rotation. And this is the first way of doing this stretch. You can also do this without assistance. So this would have been my wall. If I want to do this without assistance, I could do something like this, which I think is better, but it does require more balance. So again, I am straight through the spine and I am pushing my hip directly out and keeping my foot in a turned out position here. I guess in this case, because it's over here, it's turned in, but my leg's in an external rotation. Another way that you can do this is you can play with some different stretches and it's not quite as effective, but it will stretch that muscle. So I can do something like a runner stretch, but I want to grab my foot with my opposite arm and I want to try to keep my foot close to my butt cheek as much as I can. Once I am here, I want to flex my butt cheek so as to get my knee to pull back, but I am not yanking on my foot. I am just letting my arm rest and holding it there. That comes really well out of here up at the hip, so long as your foot can stay crossed over like this.